What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. It is the 26th day of June, and here we are sitting at about $1.01 with roughly 10 and a half hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. And let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the price action. XRP is dumping. Here we are right around $1. I don't believe $1 is going to hold. I do believe we're going to go below $1, and the reason why I believe that is because of psychology, because of human emotion, because of capitulation. There's probably a bunch of people who bought XRP here, a bunch of people who bought XRP here, wherever, who are in pain. People who bought down here, who even though they're in the green, they're still in pain because they're not in as much green as they were prior to what we've seen in recent months. And what people do when they're in pain is they set these kind of prophetic ideas in their heads, right? Okay, if it drops below $1, I'll sell. If it drops below $1, I'll sell. As long as it's above $1, I'm going to hold. Oh, it still technically hasn't dropped below $1. There's a chance that I might be right. There's a chance it might pump. There's probably a few of you who know exactly what I'm talking about because that's happening for you right now. If you ever find yourself in moments like that, by the way, that's not a good way to go about it. Okay, that's you got to make your own destiny sometimes. Okay, God's got a plan for all of us, right? But man, if you ever think as long as it's above $1, I'm okay. What you're gonna do is you're setting yourself up for failure. Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna go below $1, and then right there at 95 to 90 cents, that's where we're gonna find support. So you're gonna sell literally the bottom, and this is why I said psychology. The reason why that'll be the bottom is because that's the capitulation moment. That's the moment where most people sell. They sell out, they freak out, and that's whenever people are selling, freaking out, that's the low. When people are buying, freaking out, that's the high. That's just how it is. And you typically see that kind of behavior around these psychological levels. $1 is not significant. It's just significant to you. What's more significant is the price action, is the Fibonacci extension. $1 technically is significant because of the 1272. But you found support at the golden ratio once, twice, 3 times, and then you found resistance at it 4 times. I would say the golden ratio is more significant, and the golden ratio is down here at 87 cents. Maybe you don't go down to 87 cents. Perhaps you find support at 94.7 cents or somewhere in between. Maybe you do bounce right off $1, and that whole point that I just made will be lost on the people watching this video, but that point still remains. Imagine we do find support at $1 and we move up and we go all the way up to $1.70. The point still remains what I said. It's not perfect. Nothing in technical analysis is perfect. We could find support directly at $1. I just think we're more likely going to mess with people instead of making it that easy for you. But we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, if everybody's sold already, then sure, maybe we do pump. But volume is picking up a little bit. It is dying off overall, but I don't think we've seen an official breakout move. I think we have lower to go. Let's get into the short-term stuff. We'll zoom back out to the daily time frame here in a second. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, you are getting low here, lower low, looking like you want to form a lower low. There's not a lot of volume yet, but we're not really breaking out. You're kind of in this consolidation phase still. Perhaps you do move up from here, and then you move back down. You know, time will tell. We'll see how it goes. 1 hour time frame, RSI rejecting this 54.60 level like you have. And when you rejected it here, you saw a lower low. When you rejected it here, you saw a lower low. You're rejecting it here. Just drawing dots here. Stochastics look like they want to get oversold. That's bearish. And the MACD is just beginning to flip red. That's also bearish. 4 hour time frame here. Looking at this. Volume is picking up as you're dropping. It definitely is. You know, from this low, you're picking up volume as you're dropping. A little bit of bullish divergence, but I think you've seen that move play out already. That's what this was. Now you're coming back down. Stochastics look bearish. RSI is bearish overall, and the MACD is bearish too. You do have bullish divergence on the MACD as well. So yeah, nothing crazy lower, but maybe a little bit lower, right? Daily time frame. Is it bullish divergence? I don't know, right? Some people, you know, if we go back here, we look at this, that's bullish divergence, right? We're like right at that low close, higher lows. That's bullish divergence, right? But then now we're below that low. You might say from this low to this low we have higher lows, so that's bullish divergence. But is it? I don't know. Stochastics being oversold. And if you think in your head, oh, I know, it's bullish divergence. I've been doing this for 11 years. I don't feel confident in that. That gets me in trouble whenever I think like that. You could very well go below this level in the RSI. Absolutely you could. And I mean, with that, you'd go probably around 90 cents or lower. And that is a completely acceptable target because, again, that's where your golden ratio fib extension is right there at about just below 90 cents. Yeah, that would take you probably lower than this low in the RSI. Stochastics are oversold. The last time that you were this oversold, after being in this overbought area, you came down, you got this oversold, was over here. Were you at your low point? Hell no. You went lower. Were you oversold in your RSI? No, we're oversold now. So we're probably closer to the low here, wherever it might be, than we were here. But the point remains, right? Just because you're oversold in these areas doesn't mean that you're done. You probably do go lower. Let's compare that on the RSI too. The day you got into the oversold zone would have been here this day. Were you at your low? No, you had lower to go. MACD's building bearish momentum. I mean, I think you're probably going to go lower, probably. Weekly time frame here. Looking at this, very oversold, very bearish. So are the stochastics, and the MACD is actually about to flip red as well. So not the best look, certainly not the best look. Let's look at XRP on the long term. First and foremost, I want to say I respect XRP. I like it even. It'll always have a special place in my heart. The reason why is because of the courageous acts of defiance with the SEC that they had. I thought that was commendable. That in itself, whether you like XRP or not, that is like the true essence of crypto is and XRP is not the best representation of the true essence of crypto and why it was created, but battling the SEC, telling, like standing up for yourself instead of just cowering, bending over like a lot of people were before XRP, before Ripple faced their lawsuit and fought it in court. That was it'll always have a special place in my heart because of that. There was history being made because of that, and we remember history wrong. A lot of people remember that lawsuit as something that Ripple won. They won the lawsuit. They didn't win. They just didn't lose either. It was a tie. It was a tie of a lawsuit. So, anyways, is Bitcoin going to move up here? We're looking like we want to looking kind of frisky, looking a little bit frisky. Maybe. We're probably going to move back down. Anyways, XRP. Getting back to this. I'm saying this because I don't hate XRP. There's a lot of people who do hate XRP. They just blindly hate it, so they have no problem saying it's going to go down to zero. I'm not one of those people. I'm not saying it's going to go down to zero. I do believe in time XRP will recover and see new all-time highs and be worth more than $10, be worth more than $15. In time it's going to be worth a lot more than it is now. But for the time being, you probably have lower to go. Probably. You had all your chances to break out here, man. You just didn't take it. It's so sad. It's such a perfect setup. But the crypto markets, Bitcoin, things were just not strong, economically speaking. So you bent over. We're back down in this golden ratio zone here. The golden ratio itself from your prior all-time high to this low that you had in 2020, the COVID crash. Is that the COVID crash? Yeah. That golden ratio is right there at 90 cents. You don't have to find support directly at it, but you might. It might be directly at that level. Maybe it's just below it, maybe it's just above it, but somewhere in this area, I really wouldn't be surprised if this was XRP's low, perhaps for the whole bear market. Now, if you do go below, let me just say, if you do go below, that's not the end of the world. You can go to the 0.5 and you're still forming higher lows overall. You might break out of this imaginary trend line that I'm drawing poorly. You might break out of that to the downside, but you still have higher lows overall. If you don't find support at 90 cents, XRP likely finds support somewhere between 60 and 40 cents. Either directly at one of those levels or somewhere in between. But at this point in time, I feel pretty safe in betting on a 90-cent bear market low for XRP. I wouldn't be surprised if XRP found its bear market low before Bitcoin did. I really wouldn't be surprised. You've been moving down for so long. you're due for some type of recovery. When XRP is abandoned, whenever it's given up on, whenever people start to doubt it, that's whenever it does its best work. That's when you get candles like this. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. We saw it with XLM the other week. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if, while Bitcoin's kind of consolidating and figuring itself out at its relative lows here, it's definitely going to go lower. It's not at the end of its bear market. But if XRP in that time saw a wicked pump, XRP pumping makes everybody think that the bull market's on, altcoin season's going to happen, but really it's just like it's been. It's just a few altcoins pump, right? And XRP probably does. DeFi might have its chance. We just saw AI step into the ring, right? Before it was Zcash and Dash and privacy coins. Now the narrative shifted to AI coins. The narrative's going to shift again from AI to something else. It's probably going to shift to DeFi and RWAs, and XRP has that stablecoin on ramps, off ramps, payments, whatever. I mean, that's DeFi. XRP has that, and I don't know, that could really happen. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe we don't bounce. But all I'm saying is, if this were to be the low, if the 90-cent area were to be the bear market low for XRP, we'd probably see some kind of significant bounce, so that when Bitcoin goes lower, XRP goes lower too, but it doesn't see a lower low. Does that make sense? Anyways, I hope I've given you guys some things to think about. We're at $1.02 now. Probably going to go lower. Sorry, that was loud. I didn't know that my phone was all the way up like that. Let me just make sure that we're down. Yeah, we're down. Okay. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.